Right, okay, I mistimed it. I've mistimed it. We're a minute early.
Oh, man. So that's not like you. I never even noticed. You shouldn't have said.
I was too busy.
I didn't notice. I'm well done, David. You always get it right.
Well, yeah, so no, I didn't.
You always do. You're always going to get. How's things?
Fine, yeah, good.
Thanks for that. That's good.
Yeah.
Awful nice to see you all joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see the clock ticking up here. Could you please keep sharing? Share about all over the place. It's lovely to have you here with us every Sunday night. We really appreciate it. I'm going to have to get my lighting sorted out, David. I look like I've got a halo or something. See it? Does it look like a halo? It's actually reminding me of that spike that fell off the church in the Omen. I think it's going to get me. Anyway,
on that note,
I'm in my new house tonight in Mid-Yell, folks.
Aye, but
the island of Wall and Shetland.
You're not in the studio though.
What studio? Oh no, I'm not in the studio yet. The studio is my shed outside that's getting done up.
Don't say shed. Man cave.
Well, it's the music room. Hi Vi, how you doing? Vi, we're looking forward. We're going down to Milnathort on the 16th next month. We're playing there for Vi Todd, and Davey Hunter is getting his pipes out and dusted down and coming over for a tune as well. So it's going to be fantastic. Hello, Phil in Virginia. Nice to see you. So please keep sharing about, folks. That would be fantastic. We've got a lovely night for you tonight. We've got a really nice guest, a chap called Jordan Aikin from Newcastle, piper, whistle player, and he's a great musician. And we like to have somebody on from south of the border every so often, don't we?
We do, because sometimes there can be a bit of kind of negativity towards our neighbours in the south.
But not when they play like this guy. To
be honest with you, Geordies are just on the wrong side of the border by kind of default.
Yeah.
If they had it their way, they'd be up here with us.
Absolutely.
But first of
So
all,
I'm really looking forward to Jordan coming.
First of all, I'd like to publicly applaud the Sovereign's Pipe Major Paul Burns, Royal Regiment of Scotland, for his performance last Monday at
It was
the
incredible.
funeral of Her Majesty. It was fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's a kind of a high profile gig and kind of high pressure, but as I said to him, I sent a text, I went, nothing wrong with that, and so it was good. Very good.
It must have been, the pressure must have been immense, and he carried it off beautifully. So I think that was amazing. Yeah.
I'd also like
in fact, the whole service, to be honest, so many people commented that it's when the pipes came. That was what got them.
Yeah. The key thing was that the procession from Westminster Hall to Westminster Abbey was done by the Pipes and Drums of the Army, the Royal Air Force, and various other units. And then the long walk at Windsor was just army bands. And I
saw Hugh Mackay. Hugh Mackay sometimes.
Hugh Mackay was it?
On the show. I saw Hugh. Yeah, Hugh.
He's currently back on leave in America, so that's good.
Yeah, and the Grant brothers.
Yeah. The Grant brothers and the Muir brothers.
Yeah, that's right. You know them.
First set of twins in the pipe band, pipe major and drum major.
Yeah, fantastic. Good. So we've got that. Have we got a wee bit of music we're going to play? We do. Somebody else we need to congratulate. Wait, there's somebody else we need to congratulate.
Who's that?
The old presenter of this show, Ross.
Mr. Biscuiton, yeah.
I don't know if anybody's noticed last night, ladies and gentlemen, Ross McNaughton, that used to do the show before Davy, was the piper that led off the singing for Flowery Scotland last night on the pitch.
Yep.
For the Scotland-Ireland game, which we won. Woohoo! But listen, tell me something. What's happened? They used to have pipe bands. Is this cutbacks or something that we're just into Roscoe himself?
So the Scotland football team for a while now just has a lone piper, whereas the rugby still has two pipe. At least I think it's two pipe band at least, plus your military band.
Roscoe must be getting paid a fortune when he's the only one now.
I don't think it's the band wages. You might get the band pie supplies, but I don't think it's the wages.
That was some bag cover he had on, and some big spawn. That big spawn looked like a bit of roadkill.
Yeah,
it was huge.
Yeah. Like I said, biscuit tin.
Massive.
Anyway, on that note,
but congratulations to him as well. That was great.
As I mentioned before, I have changed pipe bands, and the other week I had my first performance out with the band at Pitlochry Highland Games. And we've got a little clip of the band going down the street. So this is part of the parade from the railway station down to the games park. And basically it's kind of a play what you want, play in the street, and kind of entertain the crowd sort of thing. So here is...
Have you remembered to tell everybody what band you're playing with now? What band are you playing with now?
I now play with the Mackenzie Caledonia Pipe Band in Dundee.
There you go. That's great.
And here we have...
Can I ask something about that band? Do they eat a lot of pies?
No, we eat Pez.
Pez?
It's Pez in Dundee. Which I'll be providing you with some Pez on the weekend of the 8th and 9th when you're down here. Whenever you get down.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the Mackenzie Caledonia Pipe Band marching in the street in Pitlochry with young Bobby McAndrew leading the band with the sign. So here's a wee short clip of the band playing some 6/8. I think it's 6/8.
I'll do.
Here we go. There we go.
There we are.
3 6 Mark Crawford. Yes, Bob's pie is actually better than anything in Dundee, in my opinion. Stingray pie, any day of the week.
Cool.
Any day of the week.
Oh, brilliant. There's Mark Crawford. Brilliant. I hope folk saw that video. I didn't see that video there, David. It wouldn't play here.
Can we play it again?
No, it's all right. Yeah, play it. We'll play it again if you want, but maybe everybody else has seen it the first time. That's the thing. So,
has anyone not seen it?
I don't
No,
know.
we're okay. So, so let's bring on our first and only guest tonight. He is.
Fantastic.
I met him in 2012, 10 years ago now. That's actually
you must have been about 10 then.
He was probably about 10 then. I was 24, 25? 25. Yes, we met at the Basel Tattoo in Switzerland, which seemed to be a kind of a standard focal point for a lot of the guests we get on here is the Basel Tattoo. But it's a great melting pot of bands from all over the world. And he is from a little known place in the northeast of England called Newcastle.
Super. Fishing village.
We fishing. Yeah, they've got a team in Newcastle called Sunderland. No, is that right? So yeah, and he's been doing the trad music degree in Newcastle, and that was Mr. McCarroll that was leading that at one point, I believe.
Yes, because we had Simon on the show, didn't we? I think Simon's up in Glasgow now, isn't he?
He is in Glasgow now, yeah. So he's got a bit of a kind of a pedigree behind him now, but he's also played a gig in Dundee. I don't think you might remember that night, but yeah, it was a cracking gig. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you the Newcastle piper, Mr. Jordan Aikin.
Hello, how are you all doing?
Good evening, mate.
Thanks very much for having us. Very excited.
How are you getting on? You fine?
Aye, grand, thank you. How are you both?
Grand. David was just saying that Newcastle's really just on the wrong side of the border, that's all.
Aye, well, I can't wait for the independence vote to come again so we can move the border down and take us ways.
Just move it down a wee bit, yeah.
Listen, you just can't have the richest football team in the world as well in the Scottish League.
And that would be the reserves.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jordan, Dunny Star, he's a Hearts fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hearts. If you can't
see that, see. Yeah.
No, loves it.
It's just because Davey supports Dundee United, and you know what carry-on's been going on up there just now. So.
We've had years and years of it down in Newcastle. Finally.
Well, exactly. Peter, on you go.
Yeah, tell us, Jordan. Right, so Newcastle, because a lot of folk are going to probably think, especially all our overseas viewers and things, oh my goodness, here's a piper from England, albeit North England. But piping is international. It's all over the place now, and we know that, and it's all over the world. But how did you get into piping in Newcastle? What drew you to learning the bagpipes?
So kind of my family's half my family comes down from Scotland. So my great granddad came down with my great granddad. My great granddad's 13 of them come down from Renfrew. So they're originally from Ballachulish and Glencoe.
Did you say 13?
13 of them came down whole family.
That's a full minibus load, that.
I tell you, so it was quite a wee while ago now. They all worked in the shipyards up in Glasgow, and then come down to Tyneside to work in the shipyards down here, and then the other part of my family come from County Wicklow. So it's kind of quite a lot of people in the family were quite musical. My granddad was an accordion player and piano player, and my great grandma was a piano player and taught people how to play pianos, lots of singers and stuff. So I was kind of surrounded by a lot of trad music. But there's this one year, my grandma and granddad actually took us up to Edinburgh Tattoo, and I heard like the mass pipes and drums when I was like 7 and 8, and I was just like fell in love with it. I was like, I need to do this. I want to learn the pipes. I thought it was amazing, and luckily enough, my granddad's best friend at school, his son was a piper in the Black Watch, and when he come out of the army, he come down, moved to Newcastle, and he played in the City of Newcastle pipe band. And the kind of thing started rolling from there. When I was about 10, I started getting lessons at Newcastle pipe band with a guy called Steve Westwood, which were absolutely fantastic.
Because before we come on air there, I was chatting to you and saying 30 years ago I was the Colbert band, and we used to compete against City in Newcastle, and I mean, the band's been really, really consistent in Grade 3 all these years. It's amazing. And I mean, it's a North of England band, but they're doing absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. I unfortunately have to take a little step back away from the band at the minute, just because of obviously having a music career and having a music hobby is a bit difficult at times. And kind of this summer, trying to do competitions was a bit difficult. But absolutely, City of Newcastle pipe band, they're absolutely amazing people. And so Andy Clark took over as pipe major just before COVID hit, and he's doing an absolutely amazing job. And Gordon Smiles is the leading drummer. He does a fantastic job with the drummers as well. And just like, if anyone is looking for a band, I'd definitely give them a shout, like, because they're great cracking, playing good music, you know.
We'll come back to learning and how it progressed in a minute, but I think what about track and some music, Davey, because we've not had much music in it yet. So
that's true. You've recently completed your degree at at Newcastle University, and this is from is it your final performances?
Yeah, it's my final recital, I think, in 2017. I think it was 17. So
this is a bit of Peterborough.
Did they actually tell you would never be back, or when it was your final recital, or did they just say come back someday?
Funny enough, I did my master's degree at Newcastle Uni the year after, so I was back pretty soon.
You were back,
and then had to do another final recital.
So what was the master's in then?
Music. So I did music
as well.
So I did my master's. So like the main project in my master's degree was composition. So I did it based on my Scottish families, like kind of diaspora to Newcastle, and kind of composed a load of music about that.
I got halfway through my master's in music and environment, but kind of had to stop for a wee while. Things became a bit busy with family and things, but it's really interesting to do these things. You know.
Oh, definitely.
Anyway, back to this track.
This is the people of the Earl of Seaforth and the infamous jig, the 9/8 jig. So I take it you've got a lot of inspiration from the late Gordon Duncan as well, then.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's one of my favourites. Like, and I just especially for my final recital, I want to kind of take that influence, you know, and put that into the music, because he was a huge influence, especially as a young piper, and still is, like, to this day, a massive influence in my playing.
Great
so as we listen, Earl of Seaforth and the 9/8 jig.
Well,
the Earl of Seaforth. This tune, just note to roll each second group of notes. Your first one deliberate, then roll the second onto the top note, like something like this.
Ooh,
Fantastic.
Good fun, man. Really
Thanks very
good.
much.
Yeah. It's,
So that-
go on, I've got a wee bit of delay, Davey, so you go.
So I was going to say that. So that's was that before or after Ponds?
So that's during. So we started Ponds 2014. So that was from my final recital in 2017.
Yeah.
It was kind of so a lot of that band was in Ponds, apart from one of the lads is missing, but I had a guy on electronics for my final recital. So he was doing, I think it's the Robert Nicol singing Cantarac halfway through that as well.
Yeah.
Stuck that in
Great.
there.
Just to remind everyone at home to keep sharing.
Yep.
And if you've got any questions that you want to ask Jordan, remember, pop them in, and we'll always try and accommodate you.
I was going to say there's a nice tie-in, obviously, from the Robert Nicol, who was one of the Bob's Ball model, the State Pipers. Yeah. So from there, you played with Ponds. You started recording. Did you record the first album before or after that?
So we recorded the first album, 2016 maybe, I think we released the first album.
Yeah.
So I think the year before that, I think maybe we released the first album, then we released the second album 2019, just before COVID hit. Bit of an awful time to release an album, to be honest.
Do you know, Jordan, I was in exactly the same boat. I had just recorded, we'd had nearly the whole album done, and COVID hit. And Arthur finished it off at home, actually. We sent bits and pieces and he mixed it all at home and all that. But we couldn't really get it out anywhere because we couldn't play it and tour it or anything. So we played this year at Orkney Folk Festival, and that was the launch of our new album that we recorded 3 years ago.
It's typical, isn't it?
But if anyone is going to any of Peter's gigs in October, then certainly get yourself a copy, because for every copy you buy, he can buy a cup of coffee.
Yeah. I can nearly pay my electricity bill.
Off one CD? Oh, okay.
Yeah, for an hour.
So I'm just going to jump straight in. Let's just have a listen to a set of jigs. This is from Bagpipe Day a few years ago during COVID. Do you think you pushed this video out?
I think so. I can't remember what video I sent to you now.
You can tell us what's being played after. Here we go. Here's a set of jigs. Reels.
A little set. That was just a little clip I think we put out for international.
There was only one thing wrong with that, it was too short.
It's normally our sets are like about 10 minutes long. So,
we've got a longer one to watch as well. But it's nice that you accommodate musicians less talented like banjo players.
Oh no, Tom's amazing banjo and mandolin player, absolutely fantastic. It's just a shame we've got probably both the pipes and the banjo in the same band.
Oh, you need an accordion.
Davey, you now know if you happen to be walking gently through the streets of Newcastle and a banjo hits you square in the napper, that you know who it was. At least you'll know who it was.
I'm sure that's probably against the Geneva Convention. But yeah, so Katie's just asked the question, how many years have you been piping? So what's the total now?
20 years now, so I've just turned 20. Yeah, so I've just turned 30. So 20 years.
Jeez, you're getting
I
old.
know, man. I'm feeling it now.
Wait till you get to 35.
Listen, you young guys, don't worry about it at all. I don't know what you're going on about here. I'm about 30 as well, but 30 stone, I think. That's about it.
I used to be there myself as well, actually.
That is a funny thing, because when I first met Jordan, he was on the heavier side. Well, let's say the heavier side. And then I bumped into, was it the Scottish or something like that, or the British Big Band Championship?
So,
and you started talking, like, who the hell's, oh, bloody hell, it's Jordan.
I've had that quite a lot, like the past few years, like just people not recognising us because he used to be a bigger chap.
Nuki Brown's got a lot of answers for.
So obviously you've grown up, as you said, with the traditional music in the family, etc., which is showing through. It's coming through that Irish-Scottish connections, the whole thing, which is quite common and effect in Newcastle to have the families mixing with Scotland and Ireland and all that, isn't it? I mean, that's great. There is a culture there for the music, and the trad music course at the university is a fantastic thing. I had one of my accordion students went down and done it at one point in time as well. But the only thing is, I think you have to pay for that one nowadays, don't you?
So I was lucky. I got quite a lot of money. I got like a bursary to do it, so which is ideal. But it was absolutely amazing. I loved my time there. I did 4 years and then an extra year to do my master's. So I was there for 5 years at the uni. You know, I teach there now, so I'm a main instrument tutor on the folk degree.
Oh, right, okay. Uni. And of course, Katrina MacDonald, who's originally for Shetland.
Of course, yeah. We did a lot of Shetland music with Katrina on the course. It was quite a lot of Shetland music on the course, which is amazing. It's
obviously the area you're coming from. Then, did you have any experience with Northumbrian pipes, then, or did you never really work with Northumbrian pipes?
Not really. No, it wasn't until I would come to university I had like experience with like Northumbrian and like kind of borders music and like northeast traditional music. My main focus was like Scottish and Irish traditional music and just like through family and stuff, you know. It's, just that was my connection to it.
So who were your kind of big influences in that then? Who did you really well, you mentioned Gordon Duncan earlier on, but bands and things like that, who did you like listening to?
I was very lucky actually at university because like my favourite all-time kind of folk band is Brayback. And I remember sitting on the pipe band bus going up to the competitions, sitting with headphones and listening to Brayback, just loving it and thinking to myself like at 13 years old, just like, I want to do this one day, And then when I come to university, I had some lessons with Sam McCarroll, but then my main tutor at university was actually Callum McCrimmon. Taught us for my really pretty much my whole time at university. Callum McCrimmon come down from Glasgow to teach us, so on the pipes and whistles.
Is Callum from Glasgow originally? Is that where he's from?
No,
he's Canadian.
He is Canadian. Yeah, I thought he was overseas. And is he a descendant of the McCrimmon?
Yes.
He
was born in Edmonton and brought up in Monteith.
What a come down!
His father Ian McCrimmon stays in Monteith still.
Right.
I occasionally bump into him at the pub.
Amazing.
Well, that worked out pretty well then, ending up having him tutoring you.
It's one of your heroes, you know what I mean? Like I remember the first time he come down and had a lesson, I was like, I was so excited. It's like, Conor McCrimmon's going to start teaching us. But a fan. Being a proper fanboy. Proper fanboying over it. Like, we're pals now, so we're all worked out at the end.
Well, that's it. But you've been lucky enough to kind of play with other bands as well. We were saying beforehand, you played with the Tannies on a European tour, was it? Or was it
the UK tour, yeah. So
UK tour,
which was absolutely amazing because it's like one of them bands, you know, like a lot of kind of the pipers you grew up listening to, the likes of Gordon Duncan as well, like kind of played in the Tannies as well. So it's just like such an honor to like get asked to go and play with them. Was through Lorne MacDougall, because I know Lorne MacDougall as well, and he kind of put us in touch with Phil Smiley from the Tannies, and kind of went from there really, and it was just an absolute pleasure. Like,
I was
Before-
out once about 30 years ago. I played at a folk festival in something like that, longer than that, 35 years ago. Played at a folk festival south of Vienna, a place called Mieselbach, and there was the Tannies were on the bill, and Gordon was playing with them at that point in time. And I'd known Gordon for the Vale as well, for before that. So we ended up with a day off. So we got a train and went up to Vienna and decided to go busking in the street. And we made an absolute fortune. But we absolutely hacked off every other musician on the Kattenstrauss. So no one was happy at all. Because there are all these amazing musicians out there. They're all studying in Vienna and things, and they're doing these kind of string quartets and things. Amazing musicians. And then we came along with the pipes, and just blasted them out the place. And it ended up, unfortunately, the police moved us on.
oh dear me.
We got moved.
Speaking of being moved along, the band name Pons. What's the full band name?
Pons Alias.
And where's that come from?
So it comes from. It's going to sound really clever and stuff, but it's not at all. So like, so basically, I'm from Newcastle. Another lad in the band's from Newcastle, and the rest of the guys, we've got a lad from Altby up in the Highlands and a lad from Manchester, Bath, and Lincolnshire. We all met on the folk degree at Newcastle. And it's the original Roman name for Newcastle. So it was the bridge, and the kind of the first like settlement here was by the Romans, and so we're seeing that. I was like, oh, it's amazing, like amazing to have that as like the name. But the story is that we couldn't think of a band name. We went out after a band rehearsal, and we're sitting in Wetherspoons having a pint, and sitting behind us was a big picture of Pons Alias. Just like trying to, that's a good band name, isn't it? Just take that.
Yeah.
So,
Free advertising. You should have nicked the picture and taken it about.
Oh, exactly. Aye, well, that's it. Aye.
So that explains a lot, to you, fair.
Story of my life.
I remember there was a wee band in Edinburgh for a wee while called Give Way. And that was a great one as well, because every junction you came to, they had an advert for them. It was just there. There was signs all over the world. Give way.
The other one was call your band Fire Exit, because wherever you play, your name's in lights.
Oh, brilliant! Oh man, why didn't I think of that?
Another one was free beer. If you called your band Free Beer, you're always guaranteed a fairly big turnout.
Oh, that's it. Like, I think it's the kind of the hardest thing is band names and album names. I think the amount of hours you spend on them sorts of things is just an absolute nightmare.
But the good thing is, when you're doing the kind of the number crunching, the name crunching, you've got a list that should do you for the whole kind of career. But at that point, you just go to the next one. Yeah, next one.
There's always horrendous stuff on the list as well. You kind of you can't call the band that,
Yeah.
Well, the Tannahill Weavers have done okay, haven't they? They've managed to put their name for a lot of years.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go on, Pierre.
Anyway, are we going to have a wee track from Pons?
I suppose we could. So this is it's a Cobalt Studios. Colin Spot White is the name of the track.
Whoa,
Come on, tell us about this one.
So that was a little clip actually. We listened to like Stevie's first bar, that Ryan Cannon tune, I think it is. So that's in this one as well. But
okay.
The last tune in this set I wrote, and it's after I'm not sure if you know him, Colin Nicholson, accordion player from Orkney.
Yeah.
No, Colin very well. In fact, his father's watching. He just put a comment.
Oh, no way! Oh, amazing! Yeah. I used to live with Colin for a few years, and really good.
Well, Joe Nicholson, there you go. There's the comment.
Amazing! So this little tune I wrote for Colin Nicholson, and there's this really. It closes for an hour. It's a snooker and pool club. So every night not every night, but quite a lot of the time I'd go out in Newcastle, and every time I'd end up in this place that is open all night, closes for an hour for cleaning, then it opens again. And I'd always end up in there somehow. But every time I'd get there, I'd always text Colin and just say, Colin, spot white. So it's like it became like a running joke every time I was out. He just got sick of it in the end, to be honest. But,
so what are the tunes in this set?
There's a Bob Worrell tune to start, I think. And then I can't remember which one it is.
You can't remember, can you?
No. And then Stevie's first bar, and then
you never know. Bob might be watching. Bob's been on the show, and he quite often watches. So.
Oh, amazing! I can't remember what tune it is now.
It's okay. We'll get it.
Find
Here
it.
we go. Here's the Ponzilius doing Colin Spot White.
That's it.
Fantastic.
Thank
Great
you
plan.
very much.
Great plan. I hope somebody for the Shetland Folk Festival was watching tonight.
I hope
If
so.
not, I will tell them.
Love to get up and
If
play
not,
at Shetland.
Yeah, if not, I'll have to tell them to watch tomorrow.
Oh, thank you very
No
much.
excuse. No excuse. They can watch it. They can watch it on repeat.
And just while you're saying,
Many
Joe,
times
go and tell the Orkney boys as well that they can come up. Get Joe to
Yeah,
get you up there.
as well. They'd like the Orkney Festival. That's good crack.
I've heard great things about it as well. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. You might get kind of altitude sickness coming that far up the country, but you'll be all right.
Oh, you're not wrong.
They'll give you a shandy or something to keep you going.
Just for the sugar. Just for the sugar.
Exactly. But you're no, there you go, Peter.
No, I'm out.
No, you're fine. Go for it.
No, I'm frozen a wee bit. You go.
Hugo. I was going to say so the Pawns are still playing then.
Going strong. We're just busy putting album 3 together at the minute, so we're hoping to get album 3 released some stage next year. Anyway,
For those that are interested in buying an album, you can get it from pawnsdailymusic.com.
thank you very much. I wouldn't have said anything like that, so thanks very much for that.
No bother at all. Ladies and gentlemen, get yourselves on there. Get on there and help the boys out to buy the album.
You're also on the Bandcamp, aren't you?
Bandcamp, yeah, all the platforms, Bandcamp.
So if you are interested, maybe hang back until the next Bandcamp Friday, which I think is it next week?
I think it's next week, yeah. Is it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Is it Bandcamp Friday?
No,
October 7th is the next one. October 7th.
So you have 2 albums out just now then?
We've got
out just now?
2 albums out with Pons Alias, yeah. At the minute, we're busy working on album 3.
Where do you record? Where do you record when you're working on?
So we recorded the first one just ourselves, and then I did a bit of recording. Where was it again? It's just my mind's blank. Sorry, I can't remember. I did a bit of up next to Edinburgh, and I can't remember. We recorded.
Castletown?
No, we got the album masters at Castle Sound and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember for the life of it. It's just blank. And then we recorded the second album down in Bristol with Josh Clark.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is amazing, absolutely fantastic to work with Josh, and we kind of went down for a week in all together and so the second album's live, so it's all kind of not to a click, all live, and there's a couple of extra little things in there and stuff, like overdubs and stuff, which little bits and pieces, but yeah, it was nice to do that for a change, because they're just so used to working to a click and things like that. It was a nice experience, just kind of trying it live for a change.
So when you done you went with Newcastle band, but then you played with other pipe bands as well, didn't you? Because you met Davey over in Ball as well, didn't you? When you
too. So I had a amazing City Newcastle is kind of my home, really. It's I would never play with another pipe band now. I actually love that. Unfortunately, I can't play any pipe bands at the minute just because of work and stuff. But I was very lucky with the kind of tuition and stuff. So, as I was saying before, as a guy, kind of Steve Westwood taught us at Newcastle. And then I went for some lessons up in Glasgow with John Mulhern for a wee while when I was kind of 14, 15. And then a piper in the... he was actually playing with Dumfries and Galloway at the time, and I had kind of went from City of Newcastle to 101 Northumbrian Regiment Royal Artillery, which is the 204 Battery Tyneside Scottish Band. And Dave Clement kind of took me under his wing and kind of showed us a lot of things, and kind of he's
he did.
Sure, like to hear that. But no, he's part of the McCallum family. So Dave Clement, Alan Clements, absolutely fantastic players and brilliant blokes, and them two kind of helped us a lot, especially in my later teens to progress and play properly. And then I eventually went up to Dumfries and Galloway Constabulary with Dave and Alan, who kind of took us under the wings a bit to show us how to play properly, and played up there with them boys for a good few years. But
I was asking you earlier. Of course, Callum Watson was the pipey there, because you see Callum a lot on the Facebook and that, because he plays at more weddings every year than any other piper I know. I think he's just standard.
Oh, he loves it, and he's mad for it.
He's got about 3 different full dresses. To pick your full dress, he won't know, cheapers.
Oh man, I wish I could say the same thing. Like, I've only got one kilt.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 kilts.
Oh, brag.
Oh, 5. Sorry, and then the band kilt
was a good dog. But I've got 3, but only one fits, mate. All right. The other 2 would fit me if I joined them together. All right.
I'd like to see that.
Well, it's different patterns, so it might not look great, but never mind.
But you're doing a lot of work on your own at the moment, though, aren't you, Jordan? Well, I see, not in your own, but as a duo, kind of.
I work quite a lot with, so I'm in a lot of projects and stuff like that. So obviously the Pons Alias is my main kind of band, and I started a trio off with an absolutely fantastic English singer called John Doran. So I play with him and Heather Ferrier, who's an absolutely fantastic accordion player from Stockport. She lives in Newcastle as well. She did the degree up here, and both of them are absolutely amazing musicians. So we kind of started a trio of John's songs last year called John Doran in the Northern Assembly. So I worked with them. We've been doing a bunch of festivals over the summer and gigs, and it's really exciting music. So I think John gets a bit annoyed because myself and Heather are obviously instrumentalists, and we come to the songs with the instrumentalist mind of like how much instrumental music can we put in this song. He gets a bit annoyed about it. But I've recently kind of started my own project this year, so I'm going to release that very soon, I hope. Just got a Jordan Aikin and Quaucus. The band's going to be called Quaucus. It's like the oak. It's my name, and all the music's based around my family's like kind of past and present and stuff like that.
We're going to have a wee track, which is an official music video for your track, "Smiling May You Go" and "Smiling Come Again."
Oh, I forgot about that, Joe. Yeah, sorry. During COVID, it was myself and Bevan Morris, who I worked with in Pons Alias and a couple of lineups. We to get through COVID, we kind of got together as a duo, and I wrote a couple of tunes, and we kind of bounced ideas off each other and put these 2 tracks together over lockdowns, which is a lovely thing to do. So
here is the first one, and try and see how many trad musicians you can spot in this video. It's kind of a who's who. So here we go. Fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much.
Stunning way of putting that together. That's great. I've seen two firsts tonight, Davey. I've seen the Baran player in Pons playing the Baran and hitting cymbals with his stick at the same time. I've never seen that in my life before.
He's a percussionist, not a Baran player.
Well, I suppose if he hits a cymbal, then he's a percussionist. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And then the other thing I've never seen is an open top bus tour going past Callum McCrimmon standing on the whistle in a COVID lockdown video.
Oh, so funny that. I was laughing at seeing that.
I suppose it was okay to have open top bus tours, wasn't it? Because you're getting no fresh air then.
Basically, yeah. Basically.
Fantastic.
So is that a plan going forward as well, or is that kind of in the back burner, the duo, is that merged into the band sort of thing for yourself?
Especially this year, it's kind of been so busy for us both, being involved, kind of gigging again and other projects and bands and things. It's kind of took a backseat a bit. We're hoping to get some more stuff out there in the future, but there was little bits of ideas we kind of played about with end of last year and start of this year, but just with these things, you're kind of just like too busy.
It'd be a fabulous album to have, but I wouldn't like to pay all the musicians.
No, no, exactly. We're very lucky because everyone was up for doing that just for free. Because we did talk about
that. No, on you go.
We talked about getting funding to try to do like a one-off gig with it all and kind of put all this music together, but no one wanted to fund it, unfortunately.
Well, they might know. If there's anybody out there listening tonight that wants to fund that show, you know how to get a hold of us, and we'll get a hold of Jordan.
That'll be cool. Fantastic, yeah.
If there's an American entrepreneur out there that doesn't own Newcastle Football Club that wants to buy a traditional folk orchestra, here's your place to go. But tell me, Cam, what kind of pipes do you play? What are your drones and things?
Just play a set of McCallums.
I put a set of McCallums.
I've got
nice exhaust pipes.
I mean, they do the job for me for sure. Like, nothing too fancy for me. Just kind of nice sound.
And then I noticed in the bio we've been talking about so many projects that you're involved with in bands and bits and pieces, but you've also done the bits with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and you've also Andre Roux. How did you get involved with that one? What was that all about?
Okay, was this it's this bits and pieces when people come to Newcastle and want pipers and things like that, and kind of you just get called upon to do things, get involved with.
The Andre Roux thing, though, it seems to be the Henri Roux. Sorry, it seems to be. It's like a phenomenon just now. It's all over the place. I mean, he sells it everywhere he goes. I mean, it's just amazing.
I know. I wish I could say the same thing.
Yeah, I know. He's made it as far north as Aberdeen now, I notice as well.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. They've got a concert there fairly soon, I think, actually.
Yeah, that was a fair few years ago since I played with him. Like, well, it's a good experience.
So now, you touched on it, you happened to mention earlier, you've ended up working at the Newcastle University now as well then, so you've kind of gone full circle from being the student and now you're the lecturer.
I'm not a lecturer, unfortunately. I'm just a main instrumental tutor. I'd love to be a lecturer, though. I would be a very good one.
Then? What does your job involve then as main instrumental instructor then?
So basically you just kind of so my first students graduated this year, so they did like 3 years degree at Newcastle, and it just kind of just teach them for like the whole time at the university how to play whistle. Like I teach whistle in pipes at the university now, so my first students graduated this year that I've seen all the way through, which is just like an absolutely amazing feeling to like see students through their degree, and I've got a new batch. I think I've got 4 or 5 students starting this September. Like now they've actually started, so start teaching them next month.
So the course is continuing strong then. There's always obviously people wanting the places for it.
So the years are quite small. There's like I think there's 7 or 8 of them on the course at the minute. Like on the New Year, sorry, but like there's probably about 30 of them altogether who are throughout each of the years on the degree.
So how many pipers are on the course at the moment?
There's 3 at the minute.
Okay.
There's like border pipes. There's no Highland pipers, but there's one who's asked about Highland pipes, so I'm hoping I can convert him. Get one of the big pipes.
Yeah, because it's
fantastic.
Border pipes and bellow pipes. They are completely different kind of beasts. Folk don't kind of realise that just because you can play a set of Highland pipes doesn't mean you play a set of bellows.
Oh, totally. I mean, it took me a long time to like realise that.
Yeah. Well, that's that.
I used to when I tried to play bellow pipes, I stopped breathing for some reason. I couldn't.
I went through a stage. I still do it on occasion, actually. When I just stop blowing, so like half the bellows are.
All right.
I was like, "What am I doing?" I was like, "That's ridiculous." Hopefully, no one's seeing that.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah.
But you're involved with quite a bit of stuff with youth through the country as well and things, aren't you? Your youth projects and tuition and things like that as well.
So I did quite a lot with Folkworks, which is unfortunately kind of stopped now. So I did laugh for quite a few years and worked with Folkworks and did the youth band and at the Sage and Gateshead, which is absolutely amazing.
Was Folkworks a national English thing then, Folkworks, or was it?
It was, so they had like these summer schools where it was like anyone, like it was like a national thing, people could go to it and stuff like that. But the ones I did some of them, but then my main ones was like Saturdays teaching the youth ensemble, and then Tuesday nights where I teach like adult classes and stuff like that. But just through cutbacks, they kind of during COVID just decided to get rid of the folk department at the Sage. Which kind of hit the area quite hard because there wasn't much.
That's a shame. Yeah, that's terrible. It's a shame when, unfortunately, the music and arts gets hit first quite often.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's not ideal. But so what else you got planned then going forward, Jordan, for this year and going into 2023?
So with this mainly, it's kind of we've hit a quiet point now with kind of gigs and stuff. We had an absolutely crazy summer where gigging and festivals and which is absolutely amazing. I'm tired out now because I'm not used to it. Just being at home for like 2 years and getting back to festivals, and we did a tour of Europe as well with Ponds and like for a couple of weeks in the end of August and September, and so I'm tired out now, but it was absolutely amazing to get back out there and play. You know, it's like seeing audiences again and people meeting new people and having a crack. You know, love it. But it's quieting down a bit now, which is nice. We've got a couple of bits and pieces here and there, but the main focus at the minute is kind of pushing for next year, especially with Ponds for like festivals and gigs, especially try and push the third album, get all the material together this winter and kind of push that for next year.
I don't know if you heard that Orkney and Shetland are pushing for festivals and things next year.
Actually,
people out there.
Actually, give me 2 seconds while you're just talking with yourself. I'm going to ping a contact of mine.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, there you go. He's on one already. But there you go. This is what we kind of started this show for when we started in COVID times, and then we've just kind of kept it going, and it's great for building up contacts and things.
Oh, totally. It's absolutely a fantastic show.
Just another avenue for folk to go down to kind of try and build some work up and things like that, you know. And it's great. It's really good. So, Davey, what are you actually up to here?
I'm messaging Martin Gillespie.
It's went quiet. Sorry?
I'm messaging Martin Gillespie. For
Tyree.
Tyree.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Tyree, lovely stuff.
Tyree Festival. I'm sure I'd like that one, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
But just watch if Martin Gillespie starts making you cocktails, though.
I've heard about those.
Do you know, he made us one. He made Tartan Tunes show its own cocktail. He came on at Christmas and made us one.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
Show, actually, if you watched the Boxing Day show, we put together all the clips of kind of artists that went out. and Martin actually put it. The problem we had with Martin doing that was he drank one prior to starting to record.
Yeah, it had a few. Yeah.
I love
It was
it.
brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
When he dropped the bottle and knocked the shaker over, that was when we knew something was kind of maybe not quite right.
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant.
It was brilliant. It was fantastic.
Jordan, it's been an hour already, and thank you for joining us tonight and kind of taking time out, because I know you've been really busy. We're going to play one last track as you go, and it's "Who Is Spain." Do you want to tell us about this one?
It's been a pleasure, Alan. Thank you very much for asking this. But it's a quote off Catch 22, the book. We just didn't have myself and Bevan quite like the book, and Bev was just killing himself laughing about it, and we're chatting and laughing about it for a while, and we couldn't think of any other name for the track. So it's just like let's call "Who Is Spain," and it's a quote from Catch 22.
Tell us a bit about the video itself, because I've had a quick look at it, and it's a bit different to what you'd expect.
Yeah, so we kind of had a bit of fun with this one, to be honest. The thing we find with instrumental music is kind of you don't have a storyline as such, like on music videos and stuff like this. So when we put this one together, we thought we'll like kind of get a bunch of old clips and old videos and put them together, and then kind of put ourselves in that situation, and kind of a joke. We kind of had a bunch of meetings about what silly videos we could do for our music, and this was one of them. So it was just a bit of a laugh, really. But
it was fantastic. Magic. Well, listen, Jordan, thank you so much for giving up your time on a Sunday night to come on the show. It's been a pleasure having you, and I hope to meet you in real life at some point in time. That would be great.
On Shetland.
And definitely.
Yeah, on Shetland with the band, because I think the band would kick it. Yeah, I think.
Absolutely fantastic to get out and play. Definitely, I'd love to.
It would be brilliant. That would be fab if somebody's looking for you. So there's Rosina in California. I think Rosina is, isn't she?
Canada.
Amazing.
Canada.
Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us, lads.
For the future. When you bring the album out, the new one and that, let us know, and we'll plaster it all over the pages and all that for you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, lads. It's been class. Cheers for that.
Magic. Jordan, thank you.
Nice
one.
All
the best. And here we have Who Is Spain?
Certainly I can tell you what hi-fi is. What is it? Hi-fi is sound reproduction from an instrument that has been especially designed and constructed to give you sound that will be, as nearly as possible, the same sound you would hear in the original playing.
CC30, take one.
Once you've heard high-fidelity reproduction, you'll be hard to satisfy with anything less.
Well, that was something different.
That's really great. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's given me all sorts of ideas. I'm going to, my next video, I might do things like in black and white, like me coming out the sea once I've been swimming, you know, the kind of James Bond shot, you know.
I was more thinking, do you remember what was it? It was a character from I think it was the 80s. It was a superhero, technically. It was Swamp Thing. That might be an option.
Swamp Thing. Oh, I could do that, couldn't I?
Yeah,
No, that's great. Fantastic having Jordan on. What a nice guy. Lovely nice guy.
Yeah, no, he's a great lad. As I said, lucky enough to see them live in Dundee, good number of years ago now, in what is now called the George Orwell. I think it was still called the George Orwell then. Really small venue. The band barely had enough room to set up, but it was just the place was jumping. It was great.
Magic. Fantastic.
And that's the thing. You get these sort of bands with student populations. They kind of hit a mark. There's Alan saying thank you. Yeah, brilliant.
Hello, Alan Monroe. Hello, Alan. Hello. Nice to see you joining us. Yeah, it's been great. That's been another nice wee Sunday night. Super.
Yes.
So next week, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have pipes again next week.
Yeah, we do.
We've got tell us who's the piper next week.
We have
you know them?
Probably one of the most well-known pipers out with piping. Pardon me. He was
that sounds very complicated. Outside
ominous.
Piping.
Yeah, so he was actually he performed on tour with Madonna.
Ooh.
She of the one name. He was the piper for her. I can't remember what year it was actually. 2004 maybe.
Right. Okay.
Her world
So
tour. He was piping on it. Yeah, with the late Steve Kilbride, who passed away last week. He was the drumming and kind of choreographer for the same tour.
Okay.
But yeah, so we've got Lauren next week, all the way from New York.
Lauren Cousin.
Lauren Cousin,
that's going to be great.
That's how the other half live now. From Campbelltown to New York.
Once you've toured with Madonna, you went up a notch, haven't you?
And then some, yeah. So that'll be good. Yeah, we'll be talking pipes and whiskey because he.
Wonder what he had to wear. We'll have to ask him that next week. Did he have to wear any strange things?
He was wearing full number ones.
What?
And at the time he was playing with Scottish Power. So it's Scottish Power full number ones he was wearing.
Imagine the heat under the lights with that whole lot on.
Stadium tour.
Gee whiz.
Mm-hmm.
When Madonna was jumping about in a metallic suit or something.
Yeah, there you go. Viola wants you to walking out of the sea. So I'm not sure if she wants the Swamp Thing idea or if she wants the James Bond idea.
No, she wants to see me, the James Bond thing, just strolling.
As I've said numerous times, Peter, you need to be very careful that Greenpeace aren't going past when you're in the water. They might try and free you.
There was killer whales going about the other day, actually, and I didn't realise that we were out having a swim and there was some kicking about. I didn't realise they were quite close. And then you don't realise when you're out having a wee swim and you think, oh, right, there's a killer whale, not that far away. But then then you come in and you watch that Frozen Planet 2 thing and you see them taking down a whale about the size of a bus, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Also, for next week, those that are watching in the UK, watch us rather than Strictly. Strictly is until Christmas. You won't miss anything. You miss a chance to interact with us, our guests.
And the first weeks, they're not really that good anyway. Is it not nearer the end that they start to get a bit better or something?
Yeah, because they've whittled it down to the ones that can dance.
Yeah, exactly. So we've never been asked to go on that yet.
There's reasons behind that, Peter.
Yeah. Is that because we don't speak Gaelic again?
No, nothing. Not at all this time round. This time we're talentless, basically.
Oh.
Talentless. Talentless. Yeah. Now,
ladies and gentlemen, We're waffling. It's time we went. Thanks very much to Jordan Aikin. That's been an absolutely brilliant night. I've enjoyed it. And mind to jump on his website and buy some albums. He'll be delighted to send them out to you in the post or get them off Bandwagon or whatever you fancy. That would be absolutely splendid. Did I say, what did I say there? Bandwagon. Bandcamp.
Bandwagon. That was the music show in Perth, was it not?
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, that's right. It was. You're right. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah, it was. Well, there we go. Bandcamp. Just look for Jordan.
I think we need to head to bed. So,
ladies and gentlemen, it must go. My dog's starting to chew the door because it wants out. So I'll see you later. See you after.
All this.
Cheers. See you later. Cheers.